it kind of surrounds some of the things that we're doing in the clinic right now that seem a little bit unusual in physical therapy. Um, Many years ago, when I first came out of school in 1998, I'd recently taken a course doing the McKenzie method. And it was a course that basically was looking at this part of the McKenzie method was looking at the lower back pain, sciatica, people, you know, bulges, stenosis, different types of problems, and take them through an evaluation. So I'm there. It's probably less than a year now, and I creep out. I look at my schedule, and I've got a new patient on there. Remember, they used to put it in a big red. The clinic I was at had a big red thing when you had an evaluation. Kind of stood out. I was excited. So I kind of turned my head, look into the waiting room, and I see a husband and wife. Wife's filling out the paperwork. Husband's kind of crouched over, fidgeting a lot. You could see as I'm waiting in the back, you can see him standing up a lot, and obviously not doing well. You can even see there's a little edginess between both of them, and that's not uncommon. You're kind of all you are around your spouse and your kids. You just kind of, that's who takes the brunt, unfortunately, when things are gotten tough. And nothing nasty, just kind of, obviously there was some tension there, and obviously he was having a really, really tough time. And so I was waiting there. I can still see him from the waiting room. Walked around, got my stuff ready, and waited for him to walk back to the evaluation room. And I see him moving, and he could barely move. This looked like if I saw him another time, he looked like a vibrant guy, that exercised, was hands on, worked with his hands, very physical kind of person. I got that impression, but at that moment he wasn't doing well. So went ahead, saw him walk in, and I'm seeing him move, and I'm going, gosh, whatever I'm gonna do, I just don't want to hurt this guy and make him worse. Whatever I do, and I don't think I'm going to touch him unless I'm really sure a hands-on technique, a stretch is going to help him out. I want to be very careful about not pushing this guy. I'm going to walk him through some things. One thing the McKenzie method talks about is just patient taking themselves through certain movements before you put hands on them. And it was really, I tell you, I'm not touching this guy. That's what I said. I was really hesitant, and I was really green. I really hadn't been out for a while. I had just recently kind of gotten, comfortable with, evaluation of lower back, and just had to kind of work something through. And I said, I am going to be careful, but I am not touching this guy. So anyway, I eventually go ahead, start talking to him, and I start learning about, how this started. He was in the trades, and this really was just out of nowhere. He said it wasn't even a day he was lifting a lot. It was actually after a long drive, I think, from the shore or something like that. I forget, but it was definitely a long drive. And he starts walking me through, and I start talking to him about different things, like what I call red flags. I said, do you experience any bowel and bladder problems? Have you gotten progressively weaker? In your legs, like true weakness. Does it, hurt tremendously when you cough, or do you have extreme night pain? All these things to make sure, any bowel and bladder, to make sure that he was safe to even start the evaluation. So we got that out of the way. And at that point, I could barely get him on the table. He couldn't really stand up for more than about 30 seconds before he said, Tom, I got to sit down. I got to lie down. Anyway, I got to tell you, I got lucky. Be honestly, I got lucky. I hit it right. It doesn't always go your way, and his way, most importantly, his way. Got him on the table and slowly took him through a few basic movements, all of which he basically did on his own. I really, aside from pulling some pillows, I started him out lying on his stomach because he was kind of like a C. He couldn't even lie flat without having excruciating lower back pain. I think left buttock and thigh pain. We put him on, I want to say it was 4 or 5 pillows, so he was this big C, inverted C. He was sitting right, this is the table. He was just flat like that. And I was slowly taking out the pillows, and he was slowly, gradually using his own body weight and a little bit of movement. He was able to get flat and actually remain flat on the table. And I was like, wow, okay, and we kind of got him off. We showed him ways to get off the table. We talked him through it. And slowly he was able to get up and stand up. And he actually walked out I'm not saying he was walking out fast, but he was definitely walking out in a lot better position. And I was like, how do you feel? He goes, I feel pretty good, a lot better than when I walked in. And I'm like, good. And he goes, but I did all the work. I said, I'm glad you're able to do that, because now you know what to do if this kind of comes back. And every once in a while it comes back when you go home, and how to fix that and how to kind of correct it yourself. And that's why education is such a big, important thing with treating anyone. An educated patient that really understands what you're trying to help them with, and also understands things not to do it's so important. If you keep on hitting yourself with that hammer on your knuckle, it's gonna hurt. I don't care what magic exercise I give you, it's gonna hurt. So we walked him through. We said why we took him through these things, how we want him to progress next time. Still didn't touch him, and said this is your homework, from this point forward. And the guy was starting to get. You could see he was kidding around a little bit. He was starting to feel better, and you could see his personality was coming out. And I think he had a pretty, as I got to know him, a couple times after that, he definitely has a big, fills a room personality. And so went ahead and saw him walking to our front desk person, Wendy, and I could hear him say, I did all the work. He didn't even touch me. So it was a great outcome. Like I said, doesn't always go your way. But I got to tell you, it was a great case, and something that stands out to me of, one, listening to the patient, talking to the patient, educating the patient on why I'm asking you to do something. Because some of the things he was doing really hurt him at the time, briefly, but overall, it made him better. So in this time where we really can't get to healthcare practitioners or physical therapists, there are options out there, and video appointments sometimes can help you. Sometimes it's not the appropriate person. There are times when you really need that hands-on care to make and to get to the next step. But if you can get that level 9 or 10 pain that you want to go to the emergency room, which is the last place you want to be right now, I would take the option of at least trying something. And I would say, it doesn't have to be me. Find someone and see if they can help you out, because this is hard. We're in a very stressful time right now. Why don't we look at options of something we can do so we're not adding an additional stress on top of what's going on in the world right now? So look at options as far as telehealth. Like I said, go to your doctor, go someplace, get some help, but explore options. But don't sit there, when we're all kind of housebound now, not looking at trying to take care of this. There may be sometimes it's not a complex solution to this very painful condition. Sometimes it's a simple solution for this very painful condition. And it doesn't necessarily matter. This particular gentleman didn't have an MRI, he didn't have an X-ray, he didn't receive injections. He happened to come to me, right from his internist, and just said, listen, just go and see this guy and see if he can help you out. He may not, but let's check it out. But we checked off all the boxes to make sure he was relatively safe. Obviously, we're still moving. There's still a chance that you can make a condition worse. But we gradually took him through a very systematic way, and that's the best chance for success. And it was a pretty cool day, and I still remember that. And I remember that I didn't even touch him, and it kind of made an impact on me. Now, fast forward now in 2020, seeing that people were doing telehealth and video. This might be a time to explore that. There's other patients out there, so I hate to have someone sitting at home thinking they don't have options. So look at this as a story that kind of made a big impact on me. And get out there, make an appointment, get off the couch, don't stay, do something to help yourself, okay? And get a little bit of guidance. Education and what you have between the ears here is really important in getting you better, okay? And you may have the tools that you can do it on your own. I hope you can. Anyway, have a great day. It was exciting sharing that story. Been a while since 1998, been a few years. So it's kind of cool recounting that, and it was an exciting time for me. Anyway, to feeling better and moving better and doing the things you love, have a great day. We're all going to get through this.